Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And are stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys. Just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquel, and I am ready for the Ari Aster cinematic universe to kick off. I am more excited about that cinematic universe than any of the other cinematic universes that currently exist and that I have to watch.
That's you. That's your
me.
personality.
That's my personality.
I'm John Gilardi, and I wanted to see Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen go crazy. You didn't get that. That's me. That's my personality. I want more of him being crazy and evil.
Yeah.
And he fucking wasn't.
You know what I would love to see Mads Mikkelsen being crazy in an Ari Aster fucking movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ari Aster cinematic universe version of Secrets of Dumbledore or whatever the fuck.
I just love how all in that man is. Like when he buys in. Again, I don't know him personally. I don't actually research a lot about him, but the vibe I get from him is he's like, all right, I'm in, I'm doing it, and he just his buy-in feels really high, which is pretty cool and genuine to see in his performances.
I mean,
which makes this one just so disappointing.
He's just a professional actor, and he's like talked about that where he's like, I just hear, and I I think I love it because like he's just like, I'm fucking hanging out doing the thing, and he's like talked about like method acting where he's like, that's bullshit. What if you're and that's the hot thing right now. That's the hot thing right now is to be like, method acting's bullshit.
Yeah.
But like he's like, what if you're in a shitty movie? Like you're gonna go all in and like not stop being your character when you're like off screen in a shitty movie? No, fuck you. Like just do your job and like
I think he
hang
also
out
said
and act.
Shitty people are usually, or people who do that are probably shitty or like drawn to shitty. I don't know. There's something like he made a dig at the people who play these roles and like these shitty roles and like the dark deep ones and go method for that.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's no. I don't know. I think there's one side of the spectrum of Daniel Day-Lewis is cool.
Right.
Sorry.
No, because he said no one ever method acts playing a kind person. You always method act being a fucking asshole, or essentially.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Yeah, so I think there's like the weird, like romanticized kind of look at it. Particularly Jared Leto's the best experience, and then Daniel Day-Lewis I think is a decent example, and he's not playing shitty characters either. You know, you got like Lincoln or, a mogul, like an oil mogul or. Like a frontiersman, like some of them are shitty, but I don't know. Like he acts so little, it's almost he does it in a professional actor way. I feel where other people are doing it in very pretentious kind of social media buzz. I'm gonna channel some Heath Ledger, which spoiler alert didn't really method act as much as people like to worship him for. He just did a study for like a week or two or something like that.
Well, and then it's also like that you create those like sort of like little benchmarks to help you get into it so that you and that's what it is because it's an unnatural thing to be someone else that's that far away from who you are. And that's what sort of like again, I haven't studied this sort of Stanislavski method into that much detail, which is what it is from Stanislavski's method, blah blah blah. And it's just like it's more about creating benchmarks and living as that person, not as divorcing who you are from. So like a lot of like what like Jared Leto does and a lot of that stuff that sort of gets like showcased in the media is like very performative and honestly could distract more than anything from the performance.
Well,
and
yeah,
I think that it ends up doing that.
Using the walkers to go to the bathroom and shit on Morbius, which the movie it's Morbius. Like,
yeah.
What a tool.
Anyway, so this week we're watching this week before we go back into an examination of before we get into an examination of method acting and the various schools of acting, this week we are going to be talking about the latest entry, the third out of potentially 5 entries into the Fantastic Beasts synquilogy.
That works.
The
Saga?
Secrets of
Do you hit Saga?
Dumbledore. I guess saga would be a better word, or film series or whatever. But The Secrets of Dumbledore, which is a fucking awful title because it's just an awful title. I hate it.
Yeah, it's like it's trying to make itself tantalizing. Just
It's
in
like
the title itself, it's like,
bro,
shouldn't the movie do that on its own? I don't know.
Have we had a more precipitous downfall than J.K. Rowling? And I'm not even talking about her. I'm not going to talk about her social stances because I don't give a shit. But storytelling wise, like, she has had such a precipitous downfall as far as
Well, there's
like,
the Cursed Child too, and then these
regression.
movies.
Yeah, like the regression of her world building and like everything that she's doing storytelling wise.
I mean, I will
It's
give her
just
got-
give her credit.
The first
Go ahead.
Fantastic
No,
Beast
go ahead and give
was
her credit.
The first Fantastic Beast was fine. It's like, oh, fun.
Yeah, but
it's a fun
but
movie.
then she
Newt
doubled
Scamander.
down on everything.
Yeah, no, the reveal that like we got Grindelwald was, it's like, what the hell? Like, I remember I was so confused about that, and I don't know. I think there should have been that standalone Newt Scamander movie. Awesome. We have this. We will always have that movie because it was a singular one-off. It was a fun little nugget, a rogue one, if you will.
That would have been great. But instead, she tried to tie it into the fucking large universe.
Yeah, and it just makes the world feel small. Like the snake being a part of the second movie, she's nowhere to be seen here because people realize that's dumb. I don't know. Maybe let's start at the beginning.
Or fucking Credence being a fucking Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Like was that revealed at the end of the first movie or the second movie where it was just like
End of the second one, or who fucking knows? End of the second one. Anyways, so
start at the beginning. Start
at the beginning with the first Fantastic Beasts. Good fun movie. Fun characters, fun to see American wizardry. Newt Scamander, like Eddie Redmayne's amazing actor. Just fun stuff. You have his living inside his suitcase. Again, the American stuff, their languages, the bureaucracy on their end of the bank. Just fun sequences with Teddy, stealing stuff in the bank. It was just a good fun
Cute
movie.
Stuff.
It was a
Cute,
solid,
fun stuff.
Solid one.
Good one-off.
There's really not much else to say about it. Besides and then even the tension with Ezra Miller's character was cool. It's like, what's going on with him? Like which way is he gonna go? Like, I don't know. There's some interesting stuff there. And then so fast forward to the second one.
Well, that was let me talk about that for a second because that was cool as far as like seeing this like early and sort of like mirroring some of like the stuff with not quite racism or whatever, but like the different ideologies and like accepting the other. Like that's pretty interesting. That's pretty good as far as like putting that Credence character in that situation where it's like, oh, you are way outside of the other. You don't know what's happening. No one's helping you. Which way are you going to go? The person that you're with is like very much not helping you and in fact making things worse. And it's like, okay, yeah, there's some interesting things there as far as like nature versus nurture. If you have a monster, if you nurture a monster and create a monster versus like, blah, blah, blah. There's like that stuff that's like very interesting. And then it all like becomes this sort of like MacGuffin mystery box to this larger world that we already know that then gets complicated and getting stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, so then it hits a
Now get to the
place.
second movie.
In the second
now
one.
Get to the second movie. Well, in the first movie, there's the fucking reveal of Colin Farrell is actually Grindelwald, who is actually Johnny Depp, and that was a fucking big swing that I remember even in the theater. I was like, "What the fuck? What?"
Yeah, and so that's the first one's Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. Fun, cool, all right. And then there's the second movie, which is
The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, so what movie are we watching? And it's like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna go in because the first one's pretty good. I don't know. I guess it's gonna be. It's just weird. I don't know. There's no other way to cut it.
No, because it's like, why is this Fantastic Beast? And I think that's like sort of like the core of this whole thing where the title is a lie, where it's like now we're essentially shoehorning beasts into this, where it's like the only reason beasts are involved is because Newt Scamander is essentially like a druid, but also like not. I don't know. It's like, why are we shoehorning beasts into this? In the original Harry Potter, like the way that this like sort of like feeds is like that beasts are so much a part of everything and that they're like entwined. When it's like in the original Harry Potter, it was like, yeah, this is a big thing, but like, you know, like they're magical beasts. They happen, they do stuff, but like they're not intrinsically entwined in every single fucking like greater magical thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think the second one in terms of the beast tie-in is dumb because you have the snake. I forget her name.
Nagini.
Yeah, she's not really a beast. And then you have that like cat thing, and then you have like the little sidekicks. But there's not like they almost just didn't try to tie it in on the second one, and that it's already like, why are we doing this huge story of this big bad through the eyes of Newt Scamander? Like, it's just, why are we here doing this? And so,
especially when we haven't set it up in that, like, if we give a shit about,
you're setting
like,
up a huge storyline, a huge arc, like the feud of the lifetime before us between Dumbledore, the greatest wizard of all time, and his rival and lover and childhood friend, like all these, like the stakes.
But
and
we're
drama
not
are
making,
cool,
but we're not making it from the perspective of fucking Albus Dumbledore or Grindelwald.
Yeah,
where it's like, fuck, like why does Newt Scamander play in so much? Like, why can't Scamander like that? And that's the thing that it's like, it's so frustrating because it's like, why can't we just do, like, you know, if you're gonna do these big tentpole movies, just do fucking cool movies about fantastic beasts, you know, where it's like Monster of the Week stuff essentially. Why does it have to be?
And yeah, you could tell this story without these characters. Like, I mean, this isn't a controversial opinion. I think a lot of people feel similarly, and it ruins Newt because it's just like, and there's not even like the hapless, like unassuming hero, you know, like he's so shoehorned into this because the name Fantastic Beasts is attached to this. Like, I don't feel any, it is not justified. Like, they try to justify it by his brother being an Auror or something, so his brother comes into it, and then Queenie's existence is like being an interpreter for
Feelings or something.
Feelings, yeah. And then, I mean, what's the American guy's name?
I don't remember.
I don't
Dan
know,
Fogel.
Yeah, but he's like the best character in terms of Dan Fogel. Jacob Kowalski.
Kowalski.
I don't know. He's like the only character that feels like a person, but his storyline still. Why is he here? Like, why is he so special? It's like, it's just like, why is everyone so special? And it's like trying to tell you without telling you anything, like without even showing it. Like, it's just putting them in these scenes. It's just telling you that they're special without you seeing it, without it being substantiated. And it's just like, I believe Newt's special and he has a skill set, but it just doesn't apply here. I don't understand it. His brother's this Auror. Cool. I'll just take it at face value. And then you have Jessica Williams' character, and again, like, we just are shown her, and I don't. It's just, it was a fun character, but also, again, it was nothing. Like, she's just there. There wasn't enough of a leaning into her being a teacher. Like, she carried a book around, but like, I don't know. Maybe she was condescending or patronizing, or maybe she was trying to like micromanage people. I don't know. Like, there's stuff they could have played with, but they didn't. She just had like the transatlantic accent and carried a book, and it's like, she's the American professor. I don't know. It's just dumb. And then the Aberforth tie-in, like his shame of having an illegitimate kid and like the regret there, like
Well,
that's
now you're getting into the
interesting.
second. You're getting into the third movie now.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I already did.
But
I kind of want to rant. Sorry. That's what
No,
these two movies fucking do because they're ridiculous.
no, but that's all right. So that's the thing is like, basically, we've got these movies that are Fantastic Beast movies, and it's like, yo, this is Newt Scamander's story, like, and we're there like the whole time. This Fantastic Beasts, the Crimes of Grindelwald, and it's like, oh, Newt Scamander's story, Newt Scamander's story, Newt Scamander's story, and it's like, this isn't Newt Scamander's story. It's it's fucking Albus Dumbledore's story, and like that's clear. We've got Crimes of Grindelwald. Who's Grindelwald's best friend? Fucking Albus Dumbledore. You know, best friend lover. And it's like, oh, well, then now it's like, oh, the Secrets of Dumbledore. Well, it's like, well, who's Dumbledore's, best friend? Oh, or who's Dumbledore? It's his brother. And it's also, again, we're going back. It's like, but then we're forced to focus on Newt Scamander because they very much want Albus Dumbledore to still be like the secret outside of the movie so that they can Deus Ex Machina him having the like that he just understands and knows rather than taking the brave choice and having him be our hero, because it's like, if we know all the things that he's doing, why don't we just see it? Because that's what we care about and that's what you want us to care about. But like what they've been trying to do is be like, because and it's funny because what they tried to do is like, look how big the world is, by having Newt Scamander. Newt Scamander's our hero, and look how big the world is, and like the idea is that Newt Scamander's story would probably just like touch, like this would be the thing that's happening in the world. And we would end up following it throughout the course of these movies, but we really be following Newt Scamander. But the fact of the matter is, we follow in Dumbledore's story. So why don't we just follow that story?
And also, like we're not like, if we see snippets of this, like say we truly see an engaging, cool story of Newt Scamander, but then we also get like, oh, this stuff's happening parallel, and here's Jude Law's Dumbledore, like all this stuff, but it's like, I mean, this is important storylines. Like, we're not getting that, we're not going to get that story. It's like, why, like, I like Newt, but like when you put Newt to this huge epic thing that like is supposed to be this legendary thing in the Wizarding World history, it's like it's a side piece, but it's also like the more interesting thing that you're seeing. And then like Newt's like trying to justify
just tell us
himself.
That fucking story, you fucking morons.
I'm like, so we watched the third one, obviously, but like so parts of the second one's coming back, and from what I remember, Dumbledore unveils the pact that him and Gellert Grindelwald make, where they promise they can't do damage or kill each other, and so
they
you
can't
have this
move against the other or whatever.
Yeah, so you have this crazy situation where you have the two super powerful men, differing ideals, but they can't fight each other. They can't like do this stuff, so they have to like have proxies and stuff, which is cool. And so Dumbledore comes to Newt, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? No, I can't do it. And somehow he convinces him or works him up, and it's just dumb. Like that's exactly why it's dumb. It's like, you lead me like Dumbledore. I don't understand why he sees Newt as the solution here. Now, there's something interesting to play. Maybe Dumbledore is just using a vast majority of people and hedging his bets with a lot. But we don't see that. But that could be something interesting, because that would work with Dumbledore essentially using Harry too and understanding Harry's fate from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And that's like a character trait. So that there's that could be cool, but they don't do that. And so it's just weird. And I think that was one of my biggest, that was the first red flag for me in the second movie, watching it the first time when that scene came up. I'm like, what? Why him? And then that movie just goes off the rails. It's almost it's so bad. And to go back to your Fall of Grace, like I don't know how anyone writes that unless they are just stroking themselves off as they're writing and just getting lost, and they only have yes men around them. Like the second movie is an embarrassment of writing and screenplay. And bad fan service. It's like one of the worst things I've ever seen in terms of like a high budget, like prolific, beloved property. You know, it's definitely worse than the last or Rise of Skywalker. Like it's just so bad.
Well, if only because it's like it's somehow like stupider. I don't know. Like it's so.
See, that'd be a good battle of which movie's worse, The Rise of Skywalker or Fantastic Beasts 2.
Do you think Fantastic Beasts 2 is better than Secrets of Dumbledore? Or worse? Like, which one do you think is worse between...
Secrets of Dumbledore is better, but that's just because it doesn't have offensively bad storytelling. But it does have its own huge issues and weird plot things that it just doesn't... It establishes things and ignores it, which we can get to, or we can just bring it up now that we have it. No,
bring it up now because again, this is a movie that...
Well, so there's the whole thing with... they have an election. Like, they're setting up an election, and... That's cool. But then all of a sudden, like, oh, shit. We got the Pugini or whatever it's fucking called. This little animal that, like, it was used historically through wizarding times to pick a leader because it knows purest of intent and of heart and soul. Like, it can pick out a good person. And
Yeah.
And so, out of nowhere, we just aren't...
We're not doing
the election anymore. And so, that's a thing. That just isn't communicated. And again, it's just one of those interesting things that sets up, and it's just indicative of the movie. And then the final third act too, with like the fight and the stakes were so weird. Everyone was just kind of there, and the bad guy, the big bad, doesn't do anything bad or terrible the whole movie. He's just, I don't know. It's just like loosely kind of like waiting for the moment. And like at the very beginning, they get the animal. He kills it, sees the future, resurrects it. And like within like with no conflict, because at the beginning they get it. There's no conflict through that movie to get us to that end moment of his plan coming to fruition. Like there's no conflict in there. So nothing in the middle fucking matters. Of our good guys, and they don't learn, they don't grow. There's nothing
You're
there.
Right.
It's just like it's terrible writing, and it's just dumb.
And then also there's a moment, and I can't believe they kept this in the movie. There's a moment where I guess like the German prime minister of the time, or whoever is like the bursar or whatever the fuck of
Burgermeister.
The Burgermeister of the like election, that Dumbledore's like, hey dude, you got to make the hard choice, not the right choice, or whatever the fuck, you know. And so like he doesn't. He talks to like his aide and is like, hey, listen, if we just got to make sure that Grindelwald doesn't win, like we can let him vote, for him, but we just got to like, you know, do some election fraud and make sure that. And then he's like. It's just his motives are incredibly unclear. Not that they have to be clear, but it's like...
Well, he's uninteresting. And like we just meet him. You know, we meet him and then we have that ambiguity. I don't know. That's also like... So I'm just thinking about it too.
Because, you know, you just got to think about it. But like... like... I'm so... Nobody does anything. Nobody... Again, like if we're watching this movie and like Grindelwald is the bad guy, Dumbledore is the good guy, but like neither of them actively address their own journey, like in any part of this sort of like as they're moving through stuff. Like Grindelwald just sort of sits and is menacing, but he never gets to be like, I'm going to fucking change the fabric of reality, you know, or like do any sort of like...
Well, that's like the second one ends with such like a, oh shit, he's changing the world as we know it. He's got all these followers. Dope. And then the third movie is, I'm going to do election fraud and become the leader legally, but illegal. Like, it's just like, it's such a weird shift. And it's like, it would be so much better if he's like, actually making a revolution, like causing a revolution, like a militant revolution, you know, something like that.
Well, if he was being a bad guy, like if he was doing stuff actively, but he doesn't do stuff actively, and you know who else doesn't do stuff actively? fucking Albus Dumbledore. Albus Dumbledore does the same thing that Albus Dumbledore always does. And you know what? I'm tired of it. You know,
And that was fine with Harry Potter because it was.
It was fine with Harry Potter because it was Harry Potter and the fucking fuck.
And he was a teacher and he was doing things on the back. He was doing things on the side. It was Harry Potter's story. But it's like,
well,
why
but
are we
it
giving,
worked because the
ahead.
main story of Harry Potter was him dealing with Draco Malfoy in between classes and trying to be a fish out of water in this new wizarding world, and then him also deal with like various millions of other things, like just growing up and dating Cho Chang and then also being an asshole. And then what they were trying to do in these movies actually was happening in Harry Potter, where it's like, no, this fucking like big stuff keeps abutting into Harry Potter's world, and Dumbledore is the force that keeps it at bay. Whereas in these movies, all this stuff is happening and the writer is just like, this stuff is happening and you should be paying attention to. There's nothing else for us to pay attention to. Like, that's the problem with taking it out of fucking Hogwarts, is that we don't give a fucking shit. We don't give a shit about any of the stuff, any of this relationship drama. There is no relationship drama because, you know, there's nothing in between. And it's like, in the adult world, what should we care about? We care about John McClane solving the thing right now. We don't care about the thing. In this story, the thing should be about solving Grindelwald, solving the main thing, solving the mystery, solving the thing, and then the other stuff sort of like abuts against it. Whereas when you're in school, when you're in the place of Hogwarts, the main thing, because you're a kid, because you're viewing it through that lens, is fucking going to class and Snape being the shitty potions teacher. It doesn't have to do with any of the fucking adult stuff. But
sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, that's the end of it. It's just
I wonder if she character built over such a she character built over such a long period of time and in such a way where we had that focus through line, and then she could kind of like make these side comments or like these political things on the side, like the happenings, you know, like low key, whatever. But in this, she's doing it at the same time, so she can't control herself. She's like that's why we're getting a Fantastic Beasts and a Dumbledore main quest.
But it's not Fantastic Beasts. There's no Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
You know, outside of the fucking intro, there's no Fantastic Beasts. You know, like, and that's the thing is like, yeah, the beasts are let's talk about in this movie where they go to the jail and shit. Like, yeah, those beasts are incidental to the story.
Yeah.
Like Newt Scamander, in the way that they've constructed these stories, Newt Scamander is a side character that they're trying to make the main character.
Yeah.
You know? Because they don't want to fucking tell the story from Dumbledore's perspective, because he's a Deus Ex Machina, and that's never been more clear than in these movies.
Yeah.
Freaking bring him. I'm fucking slinging it today. Fuck you, JK. Tell stories better.
She's a goof, that's for sure. Another member of their posse, the Lestrange guy. What the weirdest fucking characters. Like, he has all these different changes and allegiances, and like
but he doesn't get to say any fucking words.
He's got some kind of inner turmoil, but I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's just the weirdest.
Get to say any words.
It's just the weirdest thing, and I in terms of the beast thing, Newt, like having the animal be this big deciding thing was more of an effort than the last movie. I think I appreciated that, because that's the main through line that the movie exists with, and it's still stupid because there's no conflict. Like the beginning and end, it doesn't have anything to do with the stuff in the middle. But that's something. But the jailbreak scene is just stupid spectacle to go rescue his stupid brother, who gets petrified in a stupid spy movie scene. And then like, how did Jacob Kowalski have an assassination attempt, but they laugh it off, and he's just like back on the streets, you know, like,
yeah,
what's going on there? And you know, there's the two camps of like, it's just a movie and stuff, but like this stuff is too much, you know. There is that just a movie thing, and that what that reference is suspensive disbelief. And so this movie breaks it. So it doesn't matter. Like this movie
it definitely feels like nothing in this movie matters.
No.
Like it's just to get to a point. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just, was Theseus, was his brother in the first movie, or in the second movie? I can't believe they made 3 of these fucking expensive garbage movies. Again, I just want to say, is like, I read the fucking first Harry Potter book like 13 times because I was rabid for that shit. Yeah. You know? Like, These are places and things that I grew up with, and like,
it's like not even a treat. Like it's like, oh yeah, like whatever. Even if the movie sucks, at least there would be some cool Wizarding World visualization and some world building, you know. And there isn't. Like the German stuff was like, oh cool, Wizarding World of Germany, sick. Let's see what that's about. Nothing. There's no personality there. The Nepalese or whatever, where the magic originates, it's like a boring version of Camartage, and there is one cool that instance of magic between the Auror and the teacher character where they do some cool magic, and they put the guy in the wall. Like that's like that was good. Like that sequence was good magic instead of the stupid laser like stuff.
Yeah. They have some
actually
good
got
stuff
it.
with that.
It gave me a good genuine laugh with all the baker, like all the bakery stuff. What is it fucking called? Bread?
The bread, and like where they're like opening the case and like all that stuff is coming
shoots
out.
The guy down the alleyway. That was good. That was top tier.
That's
for
good
me.
stuff.
Like there are snippets of moments in here, but the world building and seeing the Wizarding World stuff at large is lame. Even just New York City in the period piece way, it's like fucking empty. Like there's no one on the streets. Like, and they try to hide it like with weird hours, but it's barren. You know, at the beginning.
That's probably a COVID thing.
It could be, yeah, because they literally have the people, the talent, like the three guys, and what's her name, Jamie Williams, and Jacob Kowalski. Anyway, there's a scene, and there's the featured people, and there's one extra walking in the background, and then later for the wedding scene, there's no one. Also, why doesn't Dumbledore go to this fucking wedding? It's just weird that it's like the movie is commenting and yelling and making fun of the fact that he is a side character in his own story, so much so that he's not even going to this fucking wedding with all his friends.
Why isn't he going to the wedding?
It's just.
Why isn't he going to the wedding? To be mysterious? For what? These are people who are of his same age that he should be hanging out with. Is it because he's so sad? Well, what's a good way to be sad? A good way to be sad is to hang out.
Well, he's so charming and connected and all these different things, but he's a recluse for no reason, and you're not given any motivation. Like his mysteriousness and stuff in Harry Potter was cool because he was doing other things, and it was reminding you though.
And because he's a teacher, and because he's the like the above everything figure. Like,
yeah,
it makes sense. But this, it's like, hey, listen. Again, I go back to, it's like, yeah, it's easy to focus on, going to potions class when you're a kid, but it's like now we're adults. It's like, hey, listen, Dumbledore, you're 37 and I'm 32. Let's hang out. You're an incredibly it's just like, well, what fucking, I get you're sad or whatever, but it's like,
let's hang
out,
man. Like, just go hang out with your friends.
Let's support you. We'll support you. Like, why are we again? Why, as the writer, like, it seems like such a it's just such a cowardly, boring choice to take this character. Everybody clearly wants to see this story, and again, not because we don't want to see what fucking Newt Scamander's up to, but because it's not his fucking story. It's not the story that you're trying to tell. You're trying to be clever and coy, and instead of being simple and direct and telling a better story because of it. And it's just like, what's the point? Who are you being clever and coy for? Not me. not for your audience. Like,
Here's something clever that could have been clever, and just more bad writing and just like giving up on ideas. But the whole idea of like they need to be unpredictable because Grindelwald like can see all the different possibilities.
Future,
It's like, okay, cool. So they got to do really weird stuff. It's like, okay, cool. I just watched everything everywhere all at once. Cool random shit. I'm okay. This is me interesting. Harry Potter magic. Nothing. It doesn't go anywhere. It just the middle of this movie is fucking pointless.
Well, I just saw the bit. I just saw the bit on the train where they're like, we have to do stuff that's strange and unusual. And she reads her note, like the little assistant lady reads her note and take Newt's briefcase. And it's like, not everybody can know everything at once. It's like, oh, man, okay, yeah, all right. Cool. And then she shows up with the suitcase later when she shows up with the suitcase. And then she also has the suitcase at the very end. And it's like, well, I don't know. Is it a double bluff? But like for 5-card Monty or 3-card Monty or whatever, it's like,
yeah.
No, I feel like, again, for like, oh, we got to make interesting choices and change things so that we are not predictable. It's like, feels like if I know that you're being unpredictable, you're being pretty straightforward with your unpredictable choices. No, listen, no disrespect, but like, it's a weird vibe. We got a weird vibe, guys.
Yeah, it's a mess. I don't know. It's like I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised anymore, because like Harry Potter, but I mean Star Wars. Like people say what they will about. I don't know, say what they will about the prequels and I don't know, even Solo or Rogue One, but they were all made with love and they like are coherent things. The sequel trilogies, it's like I'm not surprised anymore, but it's just like, and this stuff doesn't matter. It's entertainment, but it's just like wildly irresponsible that these huge staples of our pop culture and like our just these things are handled so callously and so recklessly. And like, who the fuck's in charge with this stuff? And there's like stuff like video games even that like I love the Battlefield series, the video game series, but there's just like such stupid decisions, and it's not like minute things or preferential stuff. It's just like top level dumb ideas, and it's like some people just need to get fucking fired or kicked out from these top level C-suite producer, creative directional people because they're just dumb. They're not.
What is C-suite? For those of us who don't know, what does C-suite mean?
It's just executives, like CEOs, whatever. Like it's not too typical in these creative businesses, but like just as a shorthand of leadership, of varying degrees and types. But it's this falls under that. And then you have Kathleen Kennedy, who still has a job somehow, and thinking that Han Solo's shortcoming was of a recasting of an old part. And
man, it was because you guys.
Solo was fine. It had nothing to do with it was the production.
They're like pushing off of like making Han Solo less. Like them like continuing trying to put and distance himself from Han Solo has made me like want to defend that movie more.
It's so bizarre.
Even though I struggle to see why it exists outside of making money, but also it's like it's not as bad as you guys made it out to be. You guys just like
that's
meddled with
world,
it from the
like,
beginning.
That's fun to see stuff. It's like cool. I'm seeing things in the Star Wars universe. At least if you hate it, the story like it's showing Corellia. It's showing, I don't know. Like it's just showing cool stuff. The train robberies. Like it has fun set pieces. It's motivated. The Mud War or the war with that planet on the Empire, like it's early dirty scrungy wars and the infancy of it's like there's cool shit in there that helps build the story, and that movie wasn't a problem. And I think I don't know what again they have more resources than me, so I could be way wrong, and maybe Kathleen Kennedy is on top of it, but the takeaways from my experience with the film and my trepidations are not what they are taking away. And it's frustrating because I like the shows. They're made with love, and Favreau and Filoni, Deborah Chow. they're all Bryce Dallas Howard and Taika Waititi, all those people involved, even Rodriguez, like they're making it with love and it's good, and they get Star Wars because they have Filoni and Lucas, and like Filoni like was understudied with Lucas, so like it's Star Wars. It makes sense. With all that said, it's still TV, and there's a TV sheen, there's a TV pacing, there's a TV lack of scope. There's a TV very visible allocation of budget and scenes, all these different things, and I hate that we can't see these cool movies of different things because of these weird takeaways of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker and Solo. Like, I don't know. This turned into a Star Wars podcast, but at least this is a little bit more in depth than me bashing Rise of Skywalker. But it's very frustrating as a Star Wars fan.
Well, no, but I think it ties back around to. I mean, we could tie it back around to this fucking movie. Whenever you're done.
I mean, I'm done. I can keep going, but I'll stop myself.
Hey, John, I just want to applaud you for just marvelous self-restraint. Very proud of you. Good job.
Not all heroes wear capes.
But I mean, it's like that leads you to the point of continuing to double down on all these studios and all these C-suite people talk about existing IPs and not trying to make original movies or original content, or I mean that's they're trying to make stuff from existing IP, and I think. And again, it's just two cis white dudes here hanging out across the world, getting over COVID. And it's like, yeah, we want to see more stuff from Harry Potter. Yeah, we want to see more stuff from Game of Thrones. Yeah, we want to see more stuff.
It's comfort food, you know?
We want to see more stuff from it, for sure. We're going to go see it. We're going to see whatever. But you know what? And this is one of the things where it's like Marvel has got it really well, is because, you know what? I want to see more stuff from Marvel, but I want to see guns and spies and stuff. I want to see that where it doesn't necessarily immediately connect to the large world, that it's a story about the people in this world. And you know what? Captain America, Winter Soldier, where it's like Black Widow, where we get to tell that story within the thing, rather than fucking if I got to see a Newt Scamander movie that wasn't fucking connected to the Deathly Hallows or Gellert Grindelwald, or eventually wound up with Harry Potter, as if every single fucking story in every single fucking universe culminated in one decision point that we were all building towards. That is inevitably going to be disappointing, because if you build towards one thing, it's gonna be disappointing. It's about the journey, because any one moment is going to be less than the sum of the parts. Yeah. It's just like, we don't I liked Solo because we see all these things, not because it connects up. We've got Darth Maul and the thing. It's like, honestly, it's like that would be kind of cool. And when it connects up and it feels good, nice. That's cool.
But it also wasn't important to the story.
It's not important.
You can plug them in anywhere. It's like that works. That's fine, and we don't stroke off to the fact that Darth Maul was in it. So it's.
But that's what this is, where it's like, no, we're still building toward this. This is the prequel to the Harry Potter, because this is the precursor. Gellert Grindelwald and Albus Dumbledore's interaction mirrors the later interaction between. Dumbledore and Tom Riddle, who then is like, oh, we create this continuum of things where it's like, I honestly would be incredibly fucking pleased to just see Newt Scamander go fucking chase some fantastic beasts and see what things are like in New York, and see what things are like in Germany, and spend time with people there telling those stories that are there. I don't get or give me a story that is Albus Dumbledore's story, and it's like, hey, guess what? Because I think that's one other thing is I feel gypped either way with all three of these movies, where it's like, in one way, I was promised a Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them story, and I'm like, I don't necessarily care about that, but I like Harry Potter, so I'll go fucking see that stuff. Hell yeah. And then on the other side, I get half of the story for like Gellert Grindelwald, and you feel like in order, you're talking down to me as a storyteller, as a viewer, that you're like, in order for you to stay interested in this, I have to give you morsels to this larger story. And it's like, no, I was gonna be here because I want to see the stuff. You know, I'm here watching Solo because I want to see the big Star Wars world. Yeah. I'm here watching Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them because I want to see the wizard stuff. It's fucking cool, okay? And you don't have to like force feed me these like little bits from the large world of your one story that you have apparently, like as if everything that Patrick does eventually leads to like.
Well, yeah, that inevitability of stuff, it just makes the world small. And, like, there's already an issue of the wizarding world feeling small with the families and stuff. Like, is it truly just a community of snobby families and a few, like, outcasts? Like, it feels so small. Like, the books make it feel small. The Harry Potter movies do a decent job making it feel big. But this brings us back to it feeling small. And it's an annoying, and it's an issue that Star Wars has, too, with everything being connected. And that's why Elements of The Last Jedi was refreshing, and I don't know. But, again, I don't know. And just interesting observation. It's funny that Ezra Miller's character, Credence, is like kind of a semi-unhinged bad guy, like damaged individual. But he's like more, but they're still more tame and like composed than the actor is in real life. And it's weird because it's like, this is a villain that like literally it's an obscura that has an issue of like keeping their composure. And then you have Ezra Miller and going out in public and lashing out at people. So it's just like, it's weird. It's like, it's just it just kind of demonstrates acting. I don't know. It just was an observation I had. I don't know if there's anything there with that. But
no, it's definitely funny. Well, I don't know, dude. The whole Ezra Miller, what's going on?
Well, the DC universe is falling apart with Ezra Miller and then Amber Heard.
It's been falling apart.
Yeah, I mean,
and that
it's definitely not helping.
Yeah.
Well, you ready? You ready for a fun segment? Oh, sorry. Finish your bit.
No, I don't. It's just like, it's. I don't know. I'm not a studio executive. I'm not a fucking guy, but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like your friends make just like an absolutely like batshit decision. And you're like, well, yeah, of course that didn't work. Like, I don't know if they're like, well, then I bought a car, so that I bought a car so they didn't have to buy a car, but it was like, I bought it for less money. And it was like broken, and you're like, well, yeah, no, well, then it broke, right? And they're like, yeah, and it broke. And I was like, well, okay, then you bought a car that was broken, you knew it was going to break. I don't know. I'm just like, it's like,
wasn't a good decision there, bub.
It's like, of course, these things that you did were awful. They did bad. You did a bad job. And now things are falling apart. And you're like, well, where did these bad decisions come from? And it's like, because from you. You did a bad job, guys.
Ay.
Because anyway, I could run off on DC, but give me the fun segment.
All right, so I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes. So I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes, and do you want to take a guess on the Critic Score?
Of what? Of
the Rotten Tomatoes, like the percentage, like the Metascore.
Of what movie?
Oh, this one, the one we're talking about.
Oh, of the Critic Score?
Yes. So what do critics think?
31%, 42%.
Low. It's 54. I think a lot of that has to do with how bad it was, or the last one was that this was kind of
better,
a fresh breath of fresh air.
What was the last one? If I don't.
Sure. Let me look at that. 1 second.
Yeah, you're fine.
So we're gonna guess on what the audience scores on the current one.
54% or lower. What is it? I don't know.
People love it. It's an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
The Crimes of Grindelwald were 36% for the critics and 54% for the audience. So the audience got it right that time.
I think that both of those are the reaction to how bad Crimes of Grindelwald was.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. That's definitely a big.
And I think one thing I'll say too about I think one thing I'll say about this movie is that everything is serviceable. Nothing like the things that are bad are like things that people who watch movies a lot and like follow this stuff is like we would pick this stuff out as bad. But I would say, especially compared to the other movie, there's more that is like good. And again, especially compared to the last movie, where it's like there's more that's good than bad. Yeah. But that being said, it's like you watch it and it's like this is fucking bad. Like why? Like this is a movie that struggles to justify its existence as far as storytelling wise. Just because it's like again, I've got the movie on in the background and I got to the bit where they get out and it's like. Jacob Kowalski attempted to assassinate, but it's like now they're just letting him walk free. And then also like Dumbledore shows up in his patented like charming, I'm not involved, but I'm involved. Here I am. And I'm just like, just tell us his story. Like,
yeah,
that's my feeling on it.
Mm-hmm.
Just
That's
big
fair.
fart. Big fart.
You want to hear some reviews?
Yeah, I would love to hear some reviews. Give it to me, baby.
Sean says, awesome. Can't wait for the next 5 stars.
Oh, God. Sean.
Here we got this was a 3.5 star from Brandon.
Okay.
The Secrets of Dumbledore is a huge improvement over its predecessor. However, there still feels like there's something missing. It's headed in the right direction, but hasn't quite landed. Visually stunning and well scored. Wizarding World fans will have a great night out. This excellent sporting cast is what holds it all together. 3.5 stars from Brandon. I mean, fair review.
He's not wrong, but he's also like. I mean, it's funny because it's like.
Oh man!
I guess the other question. You read another review, but another question I have is like, well, how much money did it make? Because it's just as a person who would like to make movies and stuff and like all this stuff, where it's like, yeah, this movie was serviceable and it like told stuff, and it's like. Let's give it another $200 million. Let's give them another $200 million to see where it goes. And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Not that I want that $200 million, but
franchise
just like
low. It's $376 million at the worldwide box office. So I won't get too deep into what those numbers mean, but franchise low doesn't surprise me there. So we have Nia, 5 star. Absolutely magical, hilarious, exciting, heartstring pulling, and fantastic for new and old Wizarding World fans. My family loved it.
Good on you. I'm not gonna yuck your yum.
Here's one from Snow. It's 1.5 stars, but I didn't know they recast Grindelwald. It was such an off-putting change that the snooze fest of a movie couldn't pull itself out of the gutter. Elaine kept you entertained and engaged. 5 stars.
Oh wow!
I'll do a couple more. I'll do a really good one and a really bad one.
Yeah.
I mean, this is actually from Richard. 3 stars. Didn't like it when they showed Grind slitting the Bambi like a creature's throat. What? Wait.
Okay.
I'm gonna read this word for word. Didn't like it when they showed Grind slitting the Bambi like creature's throat. Pretty disturbing. It also raised more questions than it answered. And that being said, all the actors are great, although there were some revelations that seemed to be aimed at setting up the next movie. All right. Here we go from Eric. So boring, I left halfway through the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's a
Eric.
He did not like it. I'll find one more. 5-star rating from Lynette. My only complaint is Johnny Depp was a much better Grindelwald. In true JK style, the character development was right on point, and the storyline was flawless. This woman is literally an icon, or this woman is a literary icon. There's definitely a lot of Kool-Aid, and I don't who am I to? I don't know, but I don't know if it's one of those weird positions where you say you're the right opinion and you're invalidating the opinions and feelings of others.
Well,
but it's
listen.
like there. I am looking at. I don't I won't not consume Harry Potter media because of issues with J.K. Rowling. It's not. I mean, there's so much more people that you can you're supporting by viewing her stuff or Harry Potter stuff than just her. I mean, she's made her money and she's untouchable. So there's no, I don't know. It's a weird place. Anyways, what I'm saying is I don't have a bias or hate towards her. I think she has really bad takes. I think she's an idiot. I think she's offensive. All these different things, but those feelings are not influencing my frustration with the movie and franchise. And so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's, for me, again, I can't speak to that stuff because from my perspective, it's the
Jedi are evil.
Yeah, from my perspective, the Jedi are evil. But it's also on one hand, it's incredibly damaging because of the platform that she has. But on the other side, it's I can't it's I don't know, man. It's that's a tough thing, and I can't really. I'm not really here to talk about that sort of stuff, I'll
Magic basketball, and I'm not here to talk about that kind of stuff. Yeah, no.
Great, yeah. Throw me under the bus, John.
No, I mean, I think there's
but it's
that's fair. Just because,
No.
I mean, not that we have a huge platform here, but it's just because we have it doesn't mean we need to.
Yeah. Well, I just can't speak onto it with any sort of education. All I'll say is she has shitty opinions, and I think that whenever she was focusing more on her writing and less on bashing people who don't need to be bashed, then she wrote better stories because she's not telling good stories right now. And
no.
that's kind of what matters to me. In a very simplistic way where it's just
that's the baseline is the art, is the thing we consume.
Yeah.
So, man.
But I mean, that being said, it's I just I just think it's bad. It's a bad story. It's a bad story. I think that that's kind of it. That's kind of it for me. I had a thought, but I lost it because I got distracted by her bad takes and by I just but I had a thought. I forgot what it is though. But yeah, I would say what do you give this movie?
I think I gave it a 1.5 or a star. 1.5 or a 1. I don't remember, but not great.
Yeah.
I started off as a 2.5, and then talking about it more, I bumped it down, and I had to go look at the other one, and I think I gave it a 3. It was my default scoring when I was catching up my log. It's oh nope, that's going down to a 0.5 star. So that's how I rank these movies. Pretty tough.
I would probably go a star or a 1.5 stars.
Yeah.
A half a wand.
See, that's the unweighted ranking. If you detach it from the fact that the previous one was bad, which I think is pretty important.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I mean, I just think the bar's super low. And again, I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum. If you go like this movie, it's hell yeah. But there's just something. That's what I was gonna say. Is there's just something that feels less or hollow about these movies, and it's maybe it's because they come from a money place or that's how the feeling of it is, where it's we're trying to eke out as much money as we can out of you people, out of this thing that you love, a thing that you grew up on, and then not tell a good story. Like that's what it sort of feels like to me. And I know that there's people who like are, working on it, who care about it, but like it just doesn't feel like there's love in it. It doesn't feel like
So that's the distinct difference when you like Star Wars, when you have
which
like,
is
the
hard for us
Filoni
to say
attachment.
from the outside, where it's like it's
but
like
I guess like it's such a J.K. Rowling thing. It's like, who else is it? Where else is that love coming from? And she's so controversial that even diehard Potter fans are confused about it. They loved it. It was their childhood, and they love the art that predated that stuff. Like that. Like that's how I've heard a lot of people talk about it. But but then like a lot of the creators, I don't know. Maybe to some people it's like it's just a job, man. Like I could see that being a thing when you have such a controversial person like helming this shit. It's like you're just maybe like I don't know, and maybe some people just love it so much they don't give a shit, even if J.K. denies their existence. I can't speak for that, but it's I don't know. Like you can't. It's hard to prescribe where the love's coming from outside of like her own like narcissism and her own like her being the auteur here with this being her world.
And it's like that's one of the. I think that's something where you get you put out love into the world, or you put out like and then you get it back. But it's like because she's not putting a whole lot of love out into the world. I'll tell you that. However you want to ascribe that, or however much you want to believe in that stuff. But it's like you give good stuff, and you give focus and stuff and energy. Like it feels very much like she's writing these movies, or she's like continuing this path, not because she has to, but because she has to like prove people wrong or something.
That she's just like she's a quality creator overall. She like lightning didn't strike. Like I don't know. Like she had The Cursed Child was mixed reviews, and then the first. But I think like the first Fantastic Beasts gave her enough of that. Like I still got it, and then just fucking went off the walls. And then everyone's like, no, you don't. And then she doubled down on her hot takes, and it's truly bizarre. And I mean, the combination. It's annoying and offensive. Real life with who she is and the things she's saying, but then it's annoying and offensive with the stuff she's making. The art is just annoying and like offensively bad storytelling. It's like I think that's like the weird thing with like maybe that's the big aura is over these things is like it's annoying and offensive on both fronts. Like the art itself, I'm gonna detach it. I'm gonna support and there's other people working on this, whatever, but that's still annoying and offensive. And then J.K. Rowling plainly is annoying and offensive. So it's just, I don't know, maybe that's part of it.
Well, whatever it is, I will continue to not see them in theaters.
Yeah, thank God HBO Max is there, because then you can, because look it, I'm curious. Like again, I want to keep going in and hoping that I can see more cool stuff from the universe. Like it is a fun world. I think a lot of people still, everyone. Her generation daydreamed of going to Hogwarts at some point, and so that like getting that stuff vicariously through watching these movies is still valid in terms of like feeding that like childhood fantasy, So I'll still see what's going on, but I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, what have you been watching? Other than this 1 star.
I watched Invincible, the show. Enjoyed it.
And they've only got 1 season out of that so far, right?
Yeah, and the second and third seasons are approved, but they're still being written actually right now, or being recorded voice lines. I don't know. It's going to be a minute since we see the next season of it, but
just like it'll be a minute before we see Arcane.
Yeah.
Freaking gosh, dude.
It's like,
why's that art style got to be so cool, but also take so long to do?
It's a weird thing. I think like television or animation is like such a commitment in designing and developing worlds and stuff. Like it's such a different level. It's like you have the perk of making whatever you want because you're drawing it, but at the same time, it's like individually creating things from scratch. So like when you have the show and it hits, it's like, fuck, okay, well, now we got to do it. Here it comes 2 years later. Where
Well, it's like it comes like it's weird because there's so many colors I think in it, but it's so easily consumed as a consumer, as an audience, that it's like I think I watched like all of Invincible like so fast, and it's like
it's like 40-minute episodes too, so it's not like
but it's like it's so easily consumed, much more so than a live action, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, on a whole, animated stuff is easy to consume because, I don't know, there's just less
well, you're
weight
also
to
not
it.
confound to, like, the same 3 sets being cycled, on a show.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that spice in different colors is helpful. And then I'm also watching The Boys Season 3, which is hitting on all cylinders. Like, every episode's been a banger. Like, it's they're doing a really good job with it. It's
See, I was really disappointed on Friday because didn't they dropped 3 episodes and then they dropped 1 episode?
I think so.
And so like I thought that they dropped 3 episodes and then 3 episodes. So on Friday I was like geared up. I was geared up to watch 6 episodes. I was like, this is my day. I'm still feeling pretty sick, and this is what I'm gonna do. And it was something that, like I fell into accidentally. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna watch The Boys. Here it is. Yeah, that's what today is. And then I got to the end of episode 4, and I made a snack, and I was like, here we go. Let's go. 2 more episodes. And then that was it.
The fact that you paused after 4 too. Well,
but there was no more episodes. I didn't pause. There were no more episodes.
But like the pause in your stream or your medley. And then I watched Doctor Strange, my slow crawling watch through of Marvel, and I mean it's not bad. It's fine. But it's fun to watch it going back and understanding the rules of the magic and the rules of him and that stuff. Because the first time you're watching it, if you're not like a comic book crazy reader, it's like, all right, what's going on here? But watching it and knowing the world, knowing the rules was cool. And like, I got to pick up a lot. And so that was enjoyable. But what about you?
I have watched The Boys, Stranger Things, season 4, volume 1, the NBA Finals.
Nice.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, watch a little bit of the Stanley Cup, which the finals start tomorrow.
Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Today's
Avs.
Tuesday.
But yeah. Part of me wouldn't hate for me. I wouldn't hate to see the Lightning win.
I kind of like. I'm gonna be honest, is I'm kind of rooting for the Lightning just because, like, in the same way that I like. Now, eventually, I sort of like root for Tom Brady because it's like I don't know. I kind of want to see continued greatness, just because.
Yeah,
like it'd be kind of cool.
The part of me is like I know what that's like, and I'm fine with that existing, and good for them, and I understand and appreciate that, and also, like the original 6 and the Northern Hockey Team cities love shitting on the expansion or the Southern teams, and I love it that like that's where the new wave of talent and good teams are at. So it's kind of like fuck you guys. It's like a boomer thing.
Aren't both of these new teams expansion teams?
Avalanche came in the 90s, I believe. I think they both did. But like Colorado's in like a winter town, so like people are so they went to Colorado 95. But it's in a winter town, it's in a snow place, so people like give it a pass, but if you have Florida, North Carolina, Arizona, like people like shit on those teams, Dallas, because they're in like hockey shouldn't be there, and like there's an elitism with that. But it's like it's cool when those teams win and do well because it's like fuck you, like go away.
Gotcha.
And then you have the original 6, like the original 6 teams, and like there's like this allure and honor of like the Bruins, the Rangers, the Canadians, etc. And so when they suck,
well, there's 3 more teams. What are they?
Off the top, pressure.
Penguins?
No, it's like just think of like the classic jerseys, like the Rangers jersey is so fucking classy, and the Bruins too. Oh, the Red Wings, Blackhawks, and
one
Maple
more.
Leafs. Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs. There it is.
But yeah, no one cares. No one listening to this podcast probably cares about hockey.
Hey, you don't know that. Well, I think thank you guys again for listening. I share your thoughts in the comments. We'll probably get to Top Gun here pretty soon, just because it's so hot and I want to see it.
Yeah, obviously with COVID, can't go
I'm
see
bummed
it,
that I
so.
missed. There was a. Did you hear there was a 20? You spend $25 at Applebee's, you get a free ticket to go see Top Gun. Did you hear about that?
That's the most American thing.
I fucking love it, and I'm like, man, I'm really bummed that I got COVID. Otherwise, I would have fucking done that for sure.
Get yourself a Blondie, because
Get myself
you
a
need
Blondie, dude.
You need to get yourself a specialty drink, a dessert, and a meal at Applebee's to hit that number.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, for sure. You got to get some. You got to get some mozzarella sticks. You got to get a brownie bites, and then you got to get like a pasta meal or something that's like got fried chicken in it.
Like a fancy little entree. Cool. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Rate and review this podcast wherever you reside on the interwebs. And you know where to find us next time.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time, and we'll sound even better next time.
Yeah, we're getting progressively better sounding. We hit rock bottom with that.
We definitely did.
right.
Well, as they say in the wizarding world, give me some more money, Harry. Give me some more money, Harry. Oh.